So Jack Smith has filed a motion to dismiss Trump's D.C. election interference case. That means that he's going to drop the charges. Now, of course, a judge has to agree to it and all that fun stuff. But basically, he's filed a motion to dismiss it, which means it's pretty much done forever. But having said that, the liberals are still insistent and grasping at straws to still prosecute him. Let's listen, because the derangement syndrome has gone nowhere.
Bring in NBC's justice reporter, Ryan Riley. Christy Greenberg served as deputy chief for the SDNY criminal division. She is a former federal prosecutor and an MSNBC legal analyst. Paul Butler is a former federal prosecutor and MSNBC legal analyst. Lisa Rubin is an MSNBC legal correspondent. Thanks to all of you for scrambling here. Ryan, give us the latest.
And, of course, every single one of these people she just introduced are Trump haters.
Jack Smith's team was going to file to dismiss these charges. And let me quote from the document here. After careful consideration, the department has determined that OLC, meaning the Office of Legal Counsel within the Justice Department, has their prior opinions concerning the Constitution's prohibition on federal indictment and prosecution of a sitting president apply to this situation, and that as a result, this prosecution must be dismissed before the defendant is inaugurated. That prohibition is categorical and does not turn on the gravity of the crimes charged, the strength of the government's proof, or the merits of the prosecution, which the government stands fully behind. Based on the department's interpretation of the Constitution, the government moves for dismissal without prejudice of the superseding indictment.
So really what they're saying is, by dismissing the case without prejudice, is leaving the window open, the door open, let's say, so they can prosecute him when he's out of office, basically. That's what they're trying to reassure people with. They're so desperate to do anything in their power to attack this president, this man. He's an elderly man now. When his term is up, he will be 82 years old, and they are still trying to hope with utter desperation and venom that they can be able to mess with an 82-year-old man. It's amazing. The hatred is just unreal. And this is coming from the party of acceptance and tolerance and all the nice things that make your heart very warm. Watch the desperation right now as she fishes around for any sliver of hope of torturing this elderly person. It's just funny.
Is this case thus dead forever?
Yes.
It's done.
It's done. And in particular, they're asking, well, let me give a caveat to that, because the last sentence says the government respectfully moves under Federal Rule of Criminal Procedure 48A for a dismissal without prejudice of the superseding indictment. So let me try and translate that.
Please.
A dismissal with prejudice means you are dismissing the case and you cannot bring those same charges again. A dismissal without prejudice leaves the door open to charges. However, the charges that were brought here, Chris, unless I'm not calculating it correctly, many of them, if not all of them, would reach a statute of limitations during the Trump presidency that is about to come. So when they are saying that they are moving for a dismissal without prejudice, yes, the Department of Justice seems to be leaving a door open for itself, but I'm not sure that's a door that they can open again after the conclusion of this presidency.
So you're saying I got a chance? Now let's listen to them twist reality and the facts, because this is important as to why their ratings are in the toilet. I mean, literally, YouTubers that are reviewing hot dog condiments get more viewers than MSNBC and these clowns. So let's listen to their delusion and how they twist things around and try to distort reality.
On January 6th, 2021, was an unprecedented assault on the seat of American democracy. As described in the indictment, it was fueled by lies. Lies by the defendant targeted at obstructing a bedrock function of the U.S. government, the nation's process of collecting, counting, and certifying the results of the presidential election.
And you know what? I'll be honest with you. The thing that really irritates the hell out of me about this is they think we're so stupid that we don't hear and see things with our own eyes that actually happened. Things that go against what they're claiming happened that didn't happen. Just the complete opposite. Trump encouraged the crowd to go down there and violently attack the Capitol. Never happened. I mean, you can play it back where he says to peacefully demonstrate. That's very patriotic and very American. He never said go in there and attack and break into anything. He never said anything. He says peacefully demonstrate. Everyone knows this. You saw the video of it. But yet, as always, with the liberal mindset and the way the liberals think and do things, if they say things enough times, repeat it again and again and again, they think that that's actually reality. And then the people listening to them hear it repeatedly, and then that becomes their reality. So they're going to believe every single thing that come out of the Democrats' mouths, the lies, everything that they say. They'll just keep repeating it until it becomes their reality. I mean, that's the typical process of brainwashing people. That's why you have so many women that are cutting their hair and breaking up with their boyfriends. And I'm sure it's all bullshit, mostly. But there are some women out there that are actually doing this. Breaking up with their boyfriends, cutting their hair, because they believe the lies by MSNBC, CNN, and all the other liberal outlets that are just repeating the lies. That's why. Why do you think they're prosecuting or tried to prosecute Trump to begin with? It's that pure hatred and venom and evil that's completely created from Trump derangement syndrome. They want to destroy him. And they say, well, I mean, if you keep repeating the lies, people will believe it. So maybe we can just keep repeating the lies and have the jury believe it. But ultimately, they're forced to drop the case because you can't prosecute a sitting president. And that just tears them up. The liberals are just getting hammered. I mean, first they lose the election, they start crying. Then Trump starts appointing people to his cabinet that they really hate, and they start crying again. And now all the charges are being dropped from the January 6th crap, and they're really losing it yet again. It's just not been a good year to be a liberal.
Understanding that Jack Smith very much wanted and pushed to defend the Constitution of the United States, defend free and fair elections in the way that they are laid out in our democracy, and understanding the vested interest the American people have in that, and the very personal interest the folks he just talked about, the people who tried to defend and defended the Capitol on January 6th have.
And now she paints him out to be the hero that saved the country and trying to save the country from the evil clutches of Trump. It just never stops. She just repeats, he says the lie, now she's repeating the lie.
Dismissed the case. So in order, I think, to conserve resources, it made sense for him to do what he's done. But just an additional point to what you and Lisa were just discussing. So in this motion, Jack Smith says that, yes, the Constitution requires dismissal in this context, consistent with the temporary nature of immunity afforded a sitting president. It doesn't require dismissal with prejudice, and then goes on to say immunity from prosecution for a sitting president would not preclude such prosecution once the president's term is over or he is otherwise removed from office by regulation or impeachment. So there is a possibility here that potentially he could be prosecuted down the line. There's a real question.
I mean, personally, I don't know about anyone watching this, but I have never seen a more desperate example of hate. I mean, they're trying, they hate him so much that they just, I mean, bitch, let it go, okay? It's over. I mean, What is the problem with these people? They are just so venomous with this. It's like, they got a hard on for this guy. Even he's going to be an 82-year-old man, and nope, doesn't matter. Let's still try to destroy him. What do they get out of this? They just, they will never calm the monster of Trump derangement syndrome until they see blood. That's what they want. Notice how everything that they do is about violence, destruction, blood. Trump wins. Now people hate people and they want them to die. They say, quote, go fuck yourself, commit suicide, die. These are the words coming from the party of tolerance. And they simply want to see blood. That is the only thing that will calm their rage.
Here's what I think is likely to happen. Donald Trump can pardon himself while he's in office. Can a president pardon himself is a question that the Supreme Court has never answered. The Constitution gives the president broad pardon powers, and we know how friendly the Supreme Court is to the power of the executive, including the president. So I would expect that at some point in the next 4 years, either early in his term or on the last day, one of Donald Trump's pardons will be to himself, thus setting up yet another Supreme Court case regarding Donald Trump.
So there you have it. That's what their plan is. No matter what he does, this is what they plan on doing. Even after office, they're going to follow him and still try to prosecute him. They're going to take it to the Supreme Court to try to argue, yes, I still want to prosecute him because I have a bloodlust to murder and destroy an 82-year-old senior citizen. And that's not even to mention the fact that he is the president of the United States and they're doing this. So, for this, yes, this is why liberals in general are getting today's diss.